Get to Bob Pisani. Hey, Bob.
Hello, Carl. So what is somewhat tamer inflation fears worth to the market? Well, it's worth about 10 points right now. We got CPI that wasn't really much tamer. It was just tamer than it's been recently, about in line with expectations. But that's good enough for the market. We moved up on the futures market on that, and we opened on the upside, as Carl said, at record highs. It's not clear how much this really does lower the chances of suddenly coming out at the Jackson Hole meeting with a tapering announcement, or whether that's dramatically lowers those chances, but the market thinks it's a positive. I'll tell you one thing for sure, those lower car prices or moderating car prices, that's definitely a victory for the inflation is transitory camp, for sure. So at least so far, Powell has been right on this. In terms of sectors here, sort of a mixed open. Materials, tech was up a little bit. Banks have been lagging through most of the week. Energy has been a loser throughout the whole month. We had a large crowd out here for our electric vehicle, our EVTOL, this morning here. But I just want to point out the ETFs hitting new highs. The lithium electric vehicle has been doing very well. Vanguard, Megacap, this is all the biggest stocks in the S&P. The small group that's the biggest ones hitting new highs. Low volatility stuff is doing really well. So we're talking about Costco, Procter & Gamble, Pepsi, Johnson & Johnson, all doing really well. Meanwhile, Joby, hope you saw Phil's interview with the CEO of Joby. The guys just were very excited down here. It's all the old school, you know, flying cars. Where's my jetpack crowd? And they were just oogling the EVTOL vehicle that's out there, the electric takeoff and landing vehicle. Reid Hoffman had the great line about this. Tesla meets Uber in the air. Of course, Reid was one of the guys who was involved in that whole SPAC business. Meantime, and there you see, Joby opened up about 10%, opened at $11.20 right behind me. Meantime, a lot of talk about IPO land, a lot of pushback on prices. We're in a quiet period in August. This always happens in August. But we did not end well in the last couple of weeks. It just fell apart. 7 IPOs were postponed. Why were they postponed? Because the buyers didn't want to pay the prices. They wanted lower prices, and the guys who were offering it just walked away from the deals, essentially. We also saw price cuts. Companies went public, but Dole and Weber had to cut the prices. Weber very noticeably cut their prices. The worst thing, the big thing, is the aftermarket returns have been terrible. Aftermarket is the day after it goes public. You usually get a first-day pop in most IPOs. The question is what happens after that. They've been terrible in the last few months, losing 8%, the average IPO. That means the average viewer, the average CNBC viewer who buys in on an IPO on the first day of trading actually ends up losing money. Now, that's getting pushback because we've got a whole bunch of companies that are out there. There you see the Renaissance IPO. That's the main basket of IPOs that is been underperforming the S&P 500, and it's flat this year with the S&P 500 up 18%. That's a real warning sign. So there's big names that are coming in the second half of the year. Why does all this matter? Because they're trying to figure out what the prices are going to be in the second half of the year. And there's already pushback from people saying, wait a minute, we've been losing money. You've got to change the prices. So here's some of the names. Rivian's coming, an electric vehicle company. Global Foundries, that's a huge semiconductor designer, manufacturer. You know, Instacart, that's going to be a $40 billion valuation on that one. Authentic Brands, Forever 21 is still out there. Nautica could go back in. Nerd Wallets, personal financing, Toro's out there. And Carl, we've got Rent the Runway still that's sitting out there. We've got Fresh Market. Stripe, the online payment firm, is sitting out there. My point is, big companies, but there's a lot of discussion about what the right price will be. Street is pushing back, and that's good for people who are buyers of IPOs. Carl, back to you.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.